This episode is brought to you by Homemade. What is Homemade?
Well, glad you asked. Homemade is a turnkey house flipping service we've built to solve the needs of aspiring flippers like you who want to get started in house flipping but want to do it with the backing of a professional and experienced team.
We've designed Homemade so that our team will be with you through every step of the house flipping journey.
Our team will deliver investment-grade properties straight to your inbox,
Work with you to design your project to maximize ROI,
oversee all the renovations, and handle all permitting requirements.
and along the way, we'll hook you up with our vetted network of service providers to help finance, insure, and stage your property.
Once the project is wrapped, we'll be with you arm in arm to execute your exit plan, whether that's through a sale as a flip or holding the property in your personal portfolio as either a long or short-term rental.
At Homemade, we've taken the outdated and frustrating house flipping process and turned it into a seamless and rewarding experience so that novice and even seasoned flippers can have access to this investment class without having to delve too deep into the nitty-gritty everyday headaches that this business often entails.
At Homemade, we do the heavy lifting for you. So if you've always wanted to flip a house, head on over to homemade.co to learn more about our platform and apply to work with us.
That's homemade.co. Peace.
Hey Flipsters, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Lincoln, and we are happily married.
But not to each other.
Yeah, we're old friends from college, and we're flipping houses in the Austin, Texas area.
And we're taking you along for the ride. Welcome. First inaugural Austin Flipsters, the podcast.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are you excited about your very first ever podcast, Lauren?
I don't know if I ever thought I would be here as a podcaster, but you know,
You've really arrived.
I've arrived.
You got the setup, you got the fancy mics, you've got it all.
We got the producer, we got all the equipment. I mean, we're legit doing this thing.
Thank you guys for tuning into our first podcast episode. This one's going to be a little bit different because we're just kind of setting it up, letting you guys know what to expect, what the podcast is going to be all about. And yeah.
What can they expect? What are we doing here?
Well, that's a great question. Glad you asked. I think this podcast is really about an opportunity for us to dive deeper, to talk more directly to you guys, for you guys to get to know us a little bit better, and for us to go a little bit deeper on some of the stuff that we don't get to talk about. If you know us, you probably know us from our YouTube channel, the Austin Flipsters, and we're taking you on that whirlwind 30-minute before and after transformation, wham bam. But there's more to it than that.
Totally. There's a lot more that goes into it than what you see on YouTube, especially in a 30-minute highlight reel. So we wanted an opportunity to go into some of the behind the scenes of these projects and these episodes, how they came to be, where we found the projects, why we chose the design things we chose, an opportunity to maybe respond to some comments that we get on the internet.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions, a lot of commentary about these projects, and there's just only so much that you can share and show in a 30-minute YouTube video. A lot that we have to, frankly, gloss over or get to that big transformation payoff, but there's some really interesting stuff that happens. So this is really a space for us to explore that and get into it.
Totally.
I think also, it's an opportunity for us to express ourselves, for our audience to get to know us a little bit more as humans, what we're into. You're into some weird stuff, Lauren, aren't you? No, just kidding.
That's for later in the podcast. You got to subscribe first.
No, but it'll be, I think, more like things that we're into, what we're watching, what we're reading, what we're exploring out there in the world. And then, a lot of our audience is interested in real estate investing and entrepreneurship, finance, design, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And an opportunity for people to meet. We've got an entire team now behind us. You see us on camera and on the episodes, but we've got a huge team of, acquisitions experts. We got people on the construction management side. We got people on the media side. We got people on the client relations side. So there's a lot of people behind the scenes. And this is kind of our opportunity too, to let folks know about who all's on the team.
Totally. So we'll be bringing some of those folks on to sit, chat with us, get to know their world a little bit. As well as other outside guests. We've got, our partner clients that we work with on projects that we'll have on the show, and other folks in real estate and adjacent fields coming on, sharing knowledge.
Totally. And we should mention this podcast is brought to you by Homemade.
That's right. If you guys don't know, Lauren and I co-founded a company together called Homemade, where we are helping people out there from our audience get started in real estate investing, specifically in house flips. So we're working with them from A to Z. You'll be hearing about you'll be hearing about Homemade a lot on the podcast because it's the main channel sponsor. So more to come on that, but don't be surprised if you see a few plugs for Homemade in here.
So that's what we are doing today, but I think we need to give a little origin story about how in the world did we end up here?
That's quite a story. Yeah. So we've known each other. How long have we known each other at this point?
A while. College. So since
date yourself.
I was gonna say, so it's been a while. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, it's over a decade, approaching 2.
Almost 2.
Almost 2.
Yeah.
So we met in college, and well, tell them about that. Do you remember even meeting me for the first time? Because I don't think I remember you meeting you initially.
No, not at all. I feel like you showed up junior year. I don't know.
I was just there at some point.
Yeah. No, so we were both in the business school at Texas A&M.
Whoop, gig 'em.
And we were both in this, as fresh. So there's this program called Fresh, or at least I don't know if there still is today.
It may not exist.
They
It's
used to have
probably
this
sunsetted.
back in the day. It was called Freshman Business Initiative. We were both in it as freshmen, and basically what it was is you'd have some upperclassmen that would sort of show you the ropes, and it was basically an easy A.
Yeah,
Let's be honest, right? We had to do. I think, what did we have to do even?
Oh, it was like seminars on how to write your resume, how to study, and it was sort of it was like a meta class about succeeding in school and then prepping yourself for the business world. I found it pretty helpful, but you're right. It was
It was mostly about meeting other people in the business school.
Yeah.
Maybe dating them. Did you date anybody in your small group?
You got into that. I did not date within my small group. I dated once we so we went from the small group and we became the mentors to other small groups. I may have dated some of the mentors.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your mentee.
No. How inappropriate.
Totally inappropriate.
No, I would have never. But my peers,
Wait, who did you date? Or maybe
I'm not
we
going to
shouldn't say names.
say her name on here. I think you know.
I need
You don't remember?
No, give me a hint. No, we're not talking about. Oh, I do know.
You do know.
Okay.
You do know.
Okay. I think that was even later though.
Yeah.
So we were mentors in the program for 2 years, and then we became on the board of directors.
That's right.
Such as it is. And yeah, we thought we were the bomb.
We were the bomb. We were the big men on campus.
So once you were on the board of directors, then you got to interview the mentees and decide who made the cut. And that was an experience. But from there, worked really closely in that program and a different program called Fellows, and just got to be friends. And then I think junior year that summer, then I started working for your sister as an intern.
I hooked you up with that sweet internship working for my
Sweet
sister.
gig. Yes. And then she hired me after graduation. And you were there too for a while.
I didn't get a full-time offer. I was sort of...
It's pretty elite.
Yeah, it was an elite situation, and it was sort of a nepotism thing for me.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Mine was on merit.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So that was sort of how we became friends, and then kind of went our separate ways for a while until, about 5-6 years ago. We reconnected. Actually, it was a reunion of the board of directors. Yeah, exactly. And so we started talking that we're both sort of in the real estate world. You were flipping houses here in Austin. I had just bought a fixer upper personally and was renovating it, and sort of got the bug for all things home renovation and design. And
and we decided to partner up. And I don't know. That was a fun weekend. We remembered why we were friends. We were in the same space. It made sense. But at that time, I was watching a lot of YouTube.
Were you?
Yeah. I just...
Are you not now?
I know I still watch YouTube.
Yeah.
You never...
See, I'm not a huge YouTuber.
You're on it.
My kids are. They're on it 24/7. But
I loved it. At the time, I was like, it was blowing my mind how that whole ecosystem existed. I had no idea. And I pitched you on the idea of starting the YouTube channel.
I thought it was cat memes. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't this just viral videos, like trick shots?
Yeah, it still is. There's a lot of that. A lot of that happening. But somehow you said yes to doing the YouTube channel, which I think that was probably the biggest stretch in all of this, right?
I think I didn't know enough. I think that worked in my favor.
Yeah, I think probably because you were thinking nobody's watching this. It's just cat
Right.
memes. Like, what's
going to happen?
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, totally.
Turns out, a lot of people on there.
Yes, there's a lot of people on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll do a full episode just about the YouTube channel.
Yeah, because I think people will be interested in how that came to be.
It's a wild story.
It's been a ride.
Been a journey.
For sure.
Been a journey. But from there, we launched the channel. That spun up a million opportunities, like too many opportunities, would you say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people coming and approaching you with some like just random
There's
stuff.
a lot of Amazon things we could have pitched. All this could have been slinging some Amazon links for days. We get every day somebody asking us to sling their
We get a lot of comments saying
sparkly twinkly lights.
Yeah, we get a lot of comments saying we're like overselling or over pitching, and
it could be way worse.
It could be so much worse. The things that we could, my favorite early on thing that we could have pitched were vaping pens. We had a Chinese vaping pen company that wanted to sponsor us.
Yeah, we've got morals, people. We've got a certain standard.
Yeah, I just thought, man, right out of the gate, how desperate are vaping companies to get anyone to say, I endorse this product.
Right. Well, and we should save it for episode 3, but I think we should talk about the times we've sold out because there's definitely been a few.
We've sold out a bit. I mean, we'll name names, but yeah. So the channel's been a whole wild ride in itself, and we'll dive into it too. But then our most recent big bet and venture is homemade, right? Mm-hmm. So we can share a little bit about it now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that we came to realize through the channel, like this was not what we set out to do on the channel at all, was just the need that people had for, first of all, education in this space. I think a lot of people watch these type of shows on YouTube and HGTV and are really passionate about, your home is where you live. It's your expression of there's a lot of elements of just people's interests, right? So we're meeting with some clients yesterday and they're talking about he's into graphic design and she's a nurse, but like together they're passionate about real estate. And so I think real estate's kind of like a common ground for people, and it's a huge, we're big advocates of it as far as, building wealth, generational wealth, et cetera. And so we kind of initially started out with just some educational products, just classic course on how to flip for beginners, really consolidating all that knowledge in one place for people. And then like very quickly realized that there's a huge gap between like head knowledge and actually going out and doing something. Yeah. And there were a lot of people who were just kind of on the sidelines, quite frankly, and were just trying to get as much head knowledge as they could, but just were kind of afraid to take that initial plunge because, these are big numbers we're talking about and working with and huge ramifications if it goes wrong. Yep. And so that's really where we created this program, Flipster in a Box, which was really us walking through a project with somebody, partnering it, doing all the heavy lifting for them. And then that is what has now become homemade.
Totally. It was like, I thought of it as like almost like a franchise model because people were starting these businesses constantly all across the country, people getting into house flipping, and the people that had taken our educational course, to your point, it was like, there was this just gap. There's only so much you can share in a video. And then there's very specific context for their project that, we couldn't deliver on everybody's one-off question,
because each house is so bespoke. Even for us, we can do the same layout, the same era house, and in a depending on how the previous owner kept up with it or didn't, it can be in totally different conditions.
Right. But at the same time, running that business, I thought it was like a franchise because there's the same systems, processes, and landmines that you step on that you learn early on that it was like, why has nobody set this up in a systematized way?
I can tell you why.
Why? It's really
having
really
done this for the past,
hard.
Yes, it's really hard.
It's really
hard.
We'll
really
get
hard.
into that, but that's the dream. I think we're getting there. I think we've made some incredible strides over the last 18 months.
Yeah, we have an amazing team behind us, really amazing people that are supporting this journey and really enabling people to, is it corny to say live out their dreams?
It's so corny.
Here I am living out mine. I'm on a podcast right now.
this is a dream come true for me. No, I don't think that's corny to say. Like, it really is. I mean, that was such a weird leap to go from people making a comment on a YouTube video like, oh, this is inspiring. Okay, that's one thing to just read a comment like that, which is great. But then meeting these people, actually going through it with them is very surreal.
Yeah,
for us.
Totally. I mean, the clients we met yesterday, they're like gonna tackle this, at least full-time, part-time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they went from 1 to now they want 2, and that's what happens. You get addicted to flipping houses.
Yeah, and it is a rush. I will say that when I started out on my own, those first projects, it was just me. So when you had a win, it was like, cool. Throw myself a little party. Like nobody knew, you couldn't share it, that you didn't have that same experience. And it's totally different to watch other people, have that same journey, have that same success. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think you've mentioned before, like your first project was a win, and that was almost like a bad thing for you.
Yeah, totally. It was this like, it's beginner's luck, right? Because people that start and are successful, those are the people that go on to keep doing it again. The beginners that fail, that's the last project they ever do. But the beginner's luck is really just a self-selection bias. It's a survivor's bias. The people that had success go on. And then for me, that gave me a false sense of confidence for the second one, right? I thought, oh, well, this is easy. I got this. And turns out there were a whole host of issues on that second project that I didn't anticipate because I didn't learn those lessons on the first one. So it's really easy to like get out over your skis pretty quickly because you just think you know enough, and there's a lot of unknown unknowns lurking out there. And that's also what we're trying to solve for folks, right?
Yeah, exactly. We want the first experience to be positive.
Yeah, totally. So I think you guys should tune in. You should definitely subscribe. We are going to walk you through that whole journey, tips and tricks. And on our next episode, tell them what we're going to talk about.
We are going to go, chances are if you're watching this podcast, which God bless you, you have seen this video because this is our viral hit, the 5K house. This is the one where everybody mentions this video as where they first saw us. And it's a wild and crazy story.
It is a crazy story. So
people always ask, is it true? Did you buy it for $5,000? Yes.
That's right.
100%.
So episode 2, we are going to take you behind the scenes on our 5K video. It is by far our most successful YouTube video. To your point, it's probably the reason you even know who we are or that we exist. And we almost didn't make this video. And without that video, our whole channel, I would say, probably wouldn't exist.
Yeah. So this is high stakes, guys. You're going to want to make sure you're tuned into episode 2.
Totally. So if you're new, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be posting clips on Instagram and on our TikTok, so make sure you follow us there if you want the TLDR, if you just want the highlights from this thing. And we are so excited to get into it with you guys, and we're going to see you in episode 2.
All right. Peace.